There comes a moment in life when everything feels too much. Not because something terrible happened, not because everything is falling apart, but because everything is happening at once. You wake up tired, even after sleeping. Your phone is full of notifications, but you don't want to reply to anyone. Your responsibilities keep increasing, but your energy keeps decreasing. And the scariest part? On the outside, you look fine. You're functioning, you're showing up, you're surviving. But inside, you feel like you're slowly losing control. If you've ever thought, why can't I handle life like everyone else? Why does everything feel heavy? Or why am I exhausted even when I'm doing nothing wrong? Then this video is for you. Because what you're experiencing is not weakness. It's not failure, and it's definitely not laziness. It's overload, and no one taught you how to deal with it. Before we go deeper, let me ask you something, and answer honestly. Do you feel overwhelmed right now? Yes or no? If yes, comment, I feel it below. Not for me, for yourself. Because acknowledging it is the first step to regaining control. If this topic already feels personal, like this video, it helps this message reach people who silently need it. And subscribe to the Mindset Revolution, because here we don't just talk about problems, we break them down and solve them together. Now, let's talk about what's really happening inside you. Life doesn't overwhelm you in one big moment. It overwhelms you slowly, one responsibility at a time, one expectation at a time, one ignored emotion at a time. You don't notice it at first. You tell yourself, I'll handle it. I just need to push harder. Everyone is stressed. This is normal. But deep down, something feels off. You start feeling mentally crowded, emotionally numb, and constantly behind, even when you're trying. And the worst part, you don't know what exactly is wrong. There's no single problem to fix. There's no clear enemy. There's just pressure. Imagine this. You sit down at night, finally alone. No calls, no noise, no responsibilities in front of you. And instead of feeling relaxed, your chest feels heavy. Your mind starts replaying things you didn't do, things you should have done better, and things you're afraid will happen. You scroll your phone, not for entertainment, but to escape your own thoughts. Minutes pass, hours pass. And when you finally put the phone down, you feel even more drained than before. That's not laziness, that's mental exhaustion. Here's the truth most people 1T tell you, life today, dose and T break people loudly. It breaks them silently. You're expected to be productive, be emotionally strong, be successful, be available, and be positive, all at the same time. No pause button, no instruction manual, and when you can't keep up, you blame yourself. But the problem isn't you. The problem is, you're trying to control too much at once without knowing how. We're taught something dangerous from a young age. If you plan enough, work hard enough, and think enough, you can control everything. That belief sounds motivating, but it's actually exhausting, because life is unpredictable. And when you try to control every outcome, every reaction, every future scenario, your mind never rests. You don't feel safe. You don't feel stable. You feel like one mistake will collapse everything. That's when overwhelm takes over. Let me say this clearly and slowly. You are not overwhelmed because you're weak. You're overwhelmed because you care. You care about your future, your family, your stability, your purpose. And when caring meets uncertainty, the result is pressure. The problem isn't caring too much. The problem is carrying everything alone inside your head. Control isn't about power. Control is about clarity. When you don't know what matters most, what you can ignore, and what deserves your energy, everything feels urgent. Everything feels important. Everything feels heavy. That's not life attacking you. That's your mind being overloaded. You might not say I'm overwhelmed, but your body and mind already know. Signs include constant tiredness, overthinking small decisions, irritation without reason, loss of motivation, and feeling disconnected from yourself. And the most dangerous sign, you normalize it. You start believing this is just how life is supposed to feel. It's not. People don't break when everything goes wrong. They break when they've been strong for too long. They've ignored their limits. They've silenced their emotions, and they've been surviving instead of living. And one random day, something small happens. A delay, a comment, a mistake, and suddenly, everything feels unbearable. That's not the cause, that's the final drop. Here's something powerful you need to hear. Feeling overwhelmed does not mean your life is failing. It means your current system is failing, and systems can be changed. You don't need to escape your life. You don't need to quit everything. You don't need to disappear. What you need is to regain control from the inside out. But before we talk about solutions, you must understand why your mind and emotions are reacting this way in the first place. Because once you understand that, everything starts to make sense. I'm Dr. Alistair, a clinical psychologist, and in the next part of this series, we're going to dive deep into the science of overload. We'll explore what's happening in your brain during decision fatigue and how anxiety hijacks your sense of responsibility. We'll look at the cycle of overthinking, burnout, and emotional suppression, and understand how our society often wires us to break silently. This isn't just about feeling better, it's about understanding the why behind the what. By unpacking the psychological mechanics, we can finally see the patterns that have kept us stuck. This knowledge is the foundation for building real, lasting change. Once we've uncovered the psychological roots of feeling overwhelmed, we'll move to the most crucial part, regaining control. In our final section, I'll guide you through a practical step-by-step mindset reset. We'll focus on how to reclaim your inner authority, so you're the one steering your life, not your circumstances. I'll share simple daily systems you can implement immediately to manage your energy and focus, not just your time. We'll also work on emotional healing techniques to process the built-up stress and pressure you've been carrying. My goal is to equip you with both the practical tools and the emotional strength to not just cope, but to thrive. This journey is about transforming your relationship with pressure and reclaiming your peace of mind. Remember, if you're struggling, reaching out is a sign of strength. Professional support can provide you with personalized strategies and a safe space to navigate these challenges. You are not alone in this. Your mind doesn't suddenly lose control. It hands it over piece by piece. So slowly, you don't even notice. It's not one big dramatic breakdown. It's in all those quiet moments where you tell yourself, I'll deal with this later, and then later never comes. You see, your brain was never designed to handle constant, relentless pressure without any time to recover. But modern life doesn't really care about your brain's design, just demands performance. Every single day, your mind is a high-wire act. Juggling a dozen things at once, endless decisions, unspoken expectations, the fear of what's coming next, and the regret for what's already passed. You're constantly comparing yourself to others, feeling this immense pressure to be something, to achieve, to succeed. The problem isn't that you're thinking. The problem is your mind never gets the permission to just stop. And here's the real reason you feel so out of control. The truth most people miss. You don't feel overwhelmed because life is hard. You feel overwhelmed because your mind is overloaded with unfinished business. I'm talking about all those mental tasks you've pushed aside, the things you have processed, the decisions you haven't made, the emotions you haven't allowed yourself to truly feel. They don't just vanish, they stack up, one on top of the other, until they start running your life from the background. When this happens, your brain gets stuck in survival mode. See, your brain has two main settings: thinking mode, which is calm, logical, and focused, and survival mode, which is alert, anxious, and reactive. When life feels like too much, it's not because you're bad at life, it's because you're stuck in survival mode. And in this mode, everything feels urgent. Small problems suddenly feel huge. The idea of resting feels guilty, and even silence can feel uncomfortable, almost threatening. Your brain just keeps asking, what if something goes wrong? What if I fail? What if I fall behind? And when your brain lives in that constant state of what if for too long, it completely forgets how to feel safe. Have you noticed this? You finally sit down to rest, but your mind just doesn't rest with you. You're watching a show, scrolling on your phone, or just lying there, but mentally, you are still on. That's because while your body is resting, your nervous system is still on high alert. You're not tired because you do too much. You're tired because your mind never truly powers down. This leads to something called decision fatigue, a silent energy drain. Every single choice, no matter how small, costs you mental energy. What should I do next? What should I say? What shouldn't I say? Which path should I choose? Which mistake do I need to avoid? By the time evening rolls around, your brain is exhausted not from your work, but from the non-stop act of choosing. So when people ask, why can't you just decide? Or why are you overthinking it so much? They don't get it. They don't realize your brain has been making decisions all day long. At some point, it just stops cooperating. That's when you feel confused, indecisive, maybe even emotionally numb. This isn't weakness, it's decision fatigue. And let's talk about overthinking, because this might surprise you. Overthinking is not the problem, it's a symptom. Overthinking is your mind's desperate attempt to regain control in a world that feels completely uncertain. When you feel emotionally unsafe, your brain tells itself, if I just think about this enough, I can prevent pain. So it replays conversations, it predicts worst-case outcomes, it tries to rewrite the past and perfectly plan the future. But instead of giving you control, it just gives you exhaustion. This is why you can't just relax. People love to say it, don't they? Relax. Don't stress, just take it easy. But you can't relax when your mind genuinely believes danger is lurking around every corner. Your brain won't switch off when your future feels uncertain, when your self-worth feels unstable, or when all your hard work feels completely unseen. True relaxation requires a feeling of internal safety, and right now, your mind just doesn't feel safe. One of the fastest ways to lose that feeling of safety is the comparison trap. You don't compare yourself to others because you're insecure. You compare because your brain is desperately searching for an answer to the question, am I doing okay? But social media only shows you the highlights, not the struggles. It shows the results, not the messy process. It shows the confidence, not the crippling doubt. So your brain looks at all this and concludes, I'm behind, I should be doing more, I'm failing, and that thought alone is enough to trigger a tidal wave of overwhelm. Sometimes, the pressure you feel isn't even coming from the outside. No one is demanding anything from you, yet you still feel this intense pressure. Why? Because the pressure has moved inside. You've internalized all those expectations. I should be better, I should be faster, I should have it all figured out by now. So even on your quietest days, your own mind keeps pushing you forward. There's no external enemy anymore. You're fighting a battle against your own thoughts. And there's another hidden weight we need to talk about: emotional suppression. Unexpressed emotions don't just disappear. They turn into heavy mental baggage. The stress you didn't acknowledge, the anger you didn't express, the sadness you didn't allow yourself to feel, they stay stored in your body and your mind. And carrying that emotional weight for too long is what creates burnout, numbness, and those sudden emotional breakdowns. You don't snap because you're unstable. You snap because you've been silent for far too long. This is why small things feel so big now. When your mental load is already at its maximum, even a tiny problem can feel completely unbearable. It's not because the problem itself is big, but because it's being added to a system that's already full. That's why one text message can ruin your entire mood. One small mistake feels like definitive proof of your failure, and one little delay feels absolutely catastrophic. Your capacity is maxed out. We often tell ourselves, I'll handle it later. But later is the most dangerous word you can use when you're overwhelmed, because later usually means when I have more energy, or when things calm down, or when life gets easier. But here's the thing, life doesn't slow down on its own, and stress that you postpone just becomes chronic stress. All of this can leave you feeling completely disconnected from yourself. So many people say, I just don't feel like myself anymore. That's because overwhelm disconnects you from your intuition, your emotions, and your inner voice. You're so busy just reacting to everything around you that you stop listening to what's happening inside you. And when you lose that inner guidance, everything feels confusing and chaotic. Here, the biggest misunderstanding of all. You think you've lost control because you're not doing enough. But the reality is, you've lost control because you are carrying too much. Control isn't gained by adding more effort. It's gained by reducing the noise. And this is the moment of realization, the turning point. Your mind is not broken. Your emotions are not the enemy. Your overwhelm is not a personal failure. It's a signal, a powerful signal that your system needs to change. And once you stop fighting against that signal, you can finally start rebuilding your sense of control. The quiet truth that no one ever tells you is that you don't need a new life. You need clear mental boundaries. You need emotional permission to slow down. You need a system that works with your brain, not against it. And that is entirely possible. Not through more motivation, not through more pressure, but through intentional, deliberate control that comes from the inside. You don't regain control by trying to fix everything all at once. You regain control by fixing how you respond to everything. Understanding all of this is the first step, But understanding alone doesn't change your life. Action does. And in our next video, we're going to talk about exactly how to do that practically, emotionally, and realistically. Imagine sitting quietly for a moment. Your mind is racing, your heart is pounding, and it feels like life is slipping right through your fingers. Now, imagine a different scenario. You sit quietly, and instead of chaos, you feel clarity. Your thoughts are organized, your emotions are calm, and even when life is busy, you feel like you're steering the ship, not just drifting in a storm. That's what this video is all about. I'm going to show you exactly how to regain control over your mind, your emotions, and your life, even when everything feels overwhelming. But here's the catch. It won't happen by accident. It requires intentional steps, consistent practice, and honest self-reflection. By the end of this video, you'll have a practical roadmap to calm your mind, reduce overwhelm, and regain your sense of agency, starting today. The very first step in regaining control is awareness. So many of us try to fix our lives without ever really noticing what's happening inside our minds. We respond to chaos with more chaos. So, let's try something right now. Take just a moment, maybe even pause the video, and write down everything that's causing you stress, big or small. Don't judge it, don't filter it. Just let it all out onto a piece of paper or in your notes app. Once it's all out there, you'll start to see patterns. You'll notice which problems are real, which are just imagined fears, and which are simply mental noise. This list is your starting point. Awareness is the foundation of control. Next, you have to prioritize what truly matters. Overwhelm comes from trying to do everything all at once. Your brain simply cannot handle an unlimited number of tasks, expectations, and emotions. So, it's time to prioritize. Ask yourself, what actually requires my attention right now? What can wait, and what is completely outside of my control? I want you to create a little control matrix for yourself. Divide a page into 3 columns. In the first, list things you can act on now. In the second, things you can plan for later. And in the third, things that are beyond your control. By focusing only on that first column, you dramatically reduce your mental load. As for the rest, let them go, just for now. Once you know your priorities, it's time to create small, daily systems. Big, sweeping life changes can feel just as overwhelming as the chaos you're trying to escape. But small, consistent systems are what create long-term control. For example, you could start a simple morning routine, maybe just 5 minutes of quiet reflection or breathing before you check your phone. You could try task batching. Group similar tasks together, like answering all your emails at once, to reduce decision fatigue. Or you could create an evening reflection practice. Just 5 minutes to review what went well and what you can improve tomorrow. Systems are not restrictions, they are anchors. They give your mind a predictable structure, which reduces the feeling that life is completely chaotic. Let's talk about mastering your mind with micro-decisions. Every single decision you make, no matter how small, consumes mental energy. When you're already overwhelmed, even simple choices like what to eat for lunch can feel impossible. The solution is to make these small decisions ahead of time. Plan your meals for the week. Decide on your outfit the night before. Schedule your most important tasks into specific time blocks in your calendar. Each small decision your brain doesn't have to make in the moment frees up precious energy for the bigger, more important choices. Here's a pro tip. Don't try to control the outcomes. You can't control how things turn out. Instead, focus on controlling your process. Now, we can't talk about overwhelm without talking about emotions. Your feelings are a huge part of this experience, and ignoring them only makes the chaos worse. There's a powerful technique called name it to tame it. The next time you feel stressed, anxious, or irritated, just pause. Name the emotion out loud. Say, I feel anxious. Then, just observe that feeling without judgment for a minute or two. By simply labeling your emotions, you shift from being lost inside them to becoming an observer of them. This simple act gives you a sliver of space, and in that space, you find clarity and control. Overwhelm is often fueled by demands from the outside world. The constant notifications, the endless social media scroll, work pressures, family obligations. It's time to set some boundaries. This might mean limiting your time on social media to certain hours of the day. It might mean learning to say no to commitments that you know will drain your energy. It could be as simple as setting clear work hours and actually sticking to them. Boundaries are not selfish. They are absolutely essential for your mental health. protecting your mental space is one of the most powerful ways you can regain control. And remember, your body and mind are deeply connected. When your mind is spinning, grounding your body can instantly reset your entire system. There are a few simple techniques you can try. One is box breathing. Inhale for a count of 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold for 4. Repeat that a few times. Another great one is the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. Look around and notice 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. Or just take a short walk or do a few stretches. Releasing physical tension has a direct effect on calming your nervous system. Even just 2 to 5 minutes of physical grounding a day can have a huge impact on your mental clarity. Here's a powerful reframe. Overwhelm is not your enemy, it's a signal. It's your mind and body telling you that something in your system needs attention. Are you drowning in tasks? That's a signal to prioritize. Are you carrying too much emotional weight? That's a signal to process those feelings. Is there too much mental noise? That's a signal to create more structure. Once you start treating overwhelm as valuable information instead of a personal failure, your brain stops resisting it and you naturally start to gain clarity. To build on that, let's talk about reflection and gratitude. Reflection helps reduce overwhelm by allowing you to see your progress and find value in your day. At the end of each day, try writing down 3 things you did well, no matter how small. Note 1 challenge you faced and what you learned from it. And then, end with a simple gratitude statement. 1 thing you're thankful for. This simple practice rewires your mind to focus on growth instead of chaos, giving you a tangible sense of control even when life is busy. But the biggest trap of overwhelm is waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect plan before you do anything. Action creates momentum. Momentum creates confidence. And confidence is what melts overwhelm away. Even the smallest steps matter. Just answer 1 email. Start 1 task for just 5 minutes. Reach out and speak to 1 person. You don't climb a mountain in 1 leap. You do it 1 step at a time. The same is true for regaining control. And please remember, you are not meant to handle everything alone. Isolation amplifies overwhelm like nothing else. It's crucial to build a support system. Talk to friends or family about your mental load. Share your challenges without even expecting them to have the solutions. Just being heard can make a world of difference. Seek out mentors or communities that can offer guidance and perspective. A support system doesn't solve your problems for you, it shares the weight, and that is what restores your own ability to take control. Finally, regaining control isn't just about techniques, it's about long-term mindset shifts. It's about building a new identity. The world will always be a bit chaotic. Your control has to be internal. You can't stop external stress from happening, but you absolutely can control your response to it. Remember that overwhelm is temporary, but the practices you build are permanent. So, shift your thinking from "I must control everything" to "I will control what I can." Shift from "I am failing" to "I am learning and growing," and shift from "I need perfection" to "I need progress." Before we close, I'd love to hear from you. Comment below which part of your life currently feels the most overwhelming, and which one of these techniques are you willing to try today? Your answers help others feel seen, and you'll quickly realize you are not alone in this. Regaining control doesn't happen overnight. It happens moment by moment, decision by decision. You start by noticing what's going on inside. You prioritize what truly matters. You act consistently and intentionally, and slowly but surely, the storm inside begins to calm. You start steering your life again instead of just drifting. You regain your clarity, you regain your energy, you regain yourself. Control isn't about life being perfect, it's about navigating the chaos with calm, purpose, and self-trust. Thanks for watching. Just a quick reminder, this video is for educational purposes and is not a substitute for professional mental health care. If you're experiencing severe distress, please reach out to a licensed professional.